The Owls in the Family by Ruskin. One morning we found a full-fledged baby spotted owlet on the ground by the veranda steps. When Grandfather picked it up, it hissed and clacked its bill, but after a meal of raw meat and water, settled down for the day under my bed. The spotted owlet, even when full-grown, is only the size of a myna, and has none of the threatening appearance of the larger owls. A pair of them may often be found in an old mango or tamarind tree, and by tapping on the tree trunk, you may be able to persuade the bird to show an inquiring face at the entrance to its hole. The bird is not normally afraid of man, nor is it strictly a night bird, but it prefers to stay at home during the day, as it is sometimes attacked by other birds, who consider all owls as their enemies. The little owlet was quite happy under my bed. The following day, a second owlet was found in almost the same place on the veranda, and only then did we realize that where the rainwater pipe emerged through the roof, there was a rough sort of nest from which the birds had fallen. We took the second young owl to join the first, and fed them both. When I went to bed, they were on the ledge just inside the mosquito netting, and, later in the night, their mother found them there. From outside she crooned and gurgled for a long time, and in the morning I found that she had left a mouse with its tail tucked through the mosquito net. Obviously, she did not trust us to look after them. The young birds grew well, and 10 days later at dawn, Grandfather and I took them into the garden to release them. I had placed one on a branch of the mango tree, and was stooping to pick up the other, when I received quite a heavy blow on the back of my head. A second or two later, the mother owl swooped down at Grandfather, but he was agile enough to duck out of its way. Quickly, I placed the second owl under the mango tree. Then, from a safe distance, we watched the mother fly down and lead her young ones into the long grass at the edge of the garden. We thought she would take her family away from the surroundings of our rather strange household. But next morning, on coming out of my room, I found 2 young owls standing on the wall just outside the door. I ran to tell Grandfather, and when we came back, we found the mother sitting on the bird bath 10 yards away. I got the feeling that she was sorry for her behavior the previous day, because she greeted us with a soft "woo-woo."
"Now, there's an unselfish mother for you,"
said Grandfather.
"It's obvious she'd like them to have a good home, and they're probably getting a bit too big for her to manage."
So the 2 owlets became regular members of our household, and strangely enough, were among the few pets that Grandmother took a liking to. In fact, the owls became so attached to Grandmother that they began to show affection towards anyone in a petticoat, including Aunt Mabel, who was terrified of them. She would run shrieking from the room every time one of the birds went close to her in a friendly manner. In response to Grandmother's voice, the owlets would make sounds as gentle and soothing as the purring of a cat. But when wild owls were around, ours would disturb the night with terrible shrieks. Their nightly occupation was catching beetles, with which the kitchen quarters were infested at the time. With their sharp eyes and powerful beaks, they were excellent pest destroyers. The owls loved to sit and splash in a shallow dish, especially if cold water was poured over them from a jug at the same time. They would get thoroughly wet, jump out onto a perch, shake themselves, then return for a second splash, and sometimes a third. Looking back on those owlish days, I carry in my mind a picture of Grandmother with a contented look in her rocking chair. Once, on entering her room while she was having an afternoon nap, I saw that one of the owls had crawled up her pillow till its head was snuggled under her ear. Both Grandmother and the little owl were snoring.